Hi guys, Sean here, and in this video I'm going to talk about niching, picking a niche. How do you find your niche? And I'm going to tell the story about how when I changed my niche and I niched down in the right way, not in the way that people are saying kind of online now, but in a very particular way, I increased my income by like 10 to 50 times. Without actually changing what it is that I did. I just changed who I worked for. And so, yeah, like it's a big topic online right now about niching because, people are learning about business and they're learning about sales and positioning. And so, if you're watching this, you probably know already, like you need to niche down, you need to find a niche. That niche might be, if you're in coaching or consulting, that might be like your past self, right? So you might be helping people who, taking people through a transformation that you've already been through. So your niche might be you, right? Or if you're a service business or you're making a product or something like that, your niche might be someone else. And so you might have like a list of verticals, like my niche is marketing agencies, or I work with, if you're on like a consumer brand or you're making a product for someone, you might be like pregnant women in America or something like that. So that's what I'm talking about when I mean a niche. And I think I wanted to just go over, like, it's a really simple concept. This idea that, you shouldn't niche down and that niching down is bad. And so I'm going to tell a quick story and that should elucidate why that's absolutely false. So when I was first starting as an entrepreneur and like doing freelancing and stuff, I was doing freelance copywriting. And yeah, I think there's like videos, like some of the first videos I did on the channel was like me learning copywriting and finding copywriting clients. And yeah, like that was, I was taking all the lessons that I took from all the other stuff that I've been doing. I applied it to that freelance copywriting and I got clients like immediately because I already knew how this niching stuff worked. And yeah, it's like, so this is exactly how I learned that. So the first kind of freelancing thing, right, kind of business that I tried was English teaching. And I did that because I was traveling in Asia and, well, I mean, what are you going to do, right? You're like a young guy with no skills. I just teach English, right? So I did like a 2-week certification, got my TEFL certificate. And then I taught English in schools with kids, and it was great. Really great opportunity, and I learned a lot from that period in life. Didn't make much money, which is why ultimately I kind of had to leave that. And I was starting to figure out, okay, so people want to learn English. I mean, that's clear, but I'm not able to charge much money because, I was teaching at these language centers, it was children, and so they didn't really see the value as much as some other people might. And so I actually, by accident, I ended up working for this professional who wanted to learn English. So he was a local resident in the country where I was living. And, I was making like $3 or $4 an hour or something at the language school. And he was offering me about like $20 to $30 an hour to do like one-on-one lessons with him. And I did basically the same lessons, like the same lesson plans, but I just changed the person that I did it with and I made like 5 times, 10 times more. And I learned that, okay, so it doesn't actually matter what you do, it matters who you do it for and when. So, I was making $3 or $4 an hour teaching kids English. I was making $20 to $30 an hour teaching this like working professional English. And the reason he could pay more, well, one, he had more money, but second, it was more valuable to him because he would use these English skills to go and work abroad and maybe like triple his salary or something. So, I mean, I was like really happy because I was like, oh, damn, I'm being paid 5 times more. To him, it was like, man, this is nothing. Because like, if I can learn English and I can go and get my basically papers to work in another country, because it needs to meet a certain level of English quality to move that. He could go from making 100K a year to 300K a year, right? Because he was in like a senior management position. So that's massive for him. So for him, like $20 to $30 means nothing. And so just by changing the people who I'm working for, I immediately make more money. But it doesn't stop there, right? Because I learned this and I was like, oh, damn, okay, let's see how far we can go with this. So I started reaching out to the CEOs of banks in the same city. And I managed to do some work for a gentleman. He was the chairman of one of the biggest banks in the country. Don't ask me how I managed to get a meeting with him. And yeah, I sold a kind of, this time I sold like a program, like a package of calls for like $2,000. And it came out to something like $150 to $200 an hour. And yeah, sure, like I was good at what I did, and I put a lot of work into the lesson plans and everything, but essentially it's the same thing. Like I just repackaged what I was selling, changed who I was selling it to, and so I went from charging $3 or $4 an hour for teaching school children to $200 an hour to charging like the CEO of a bank. And that's when I learned that I actually like business a lot more than I like teaching English. And that's when I got into business a bit more. So I'm hoping that story kind of communicates that really clearly, and that this doesn't just apply to teaching English. This applies to everything, right? Every type of business, every type of product. If you just change who you are marketing it to, you can change nothing about the product and just change who you're targeting, and you can charge like 2-3 times more. So yeah, that's that concept. Change who it is you're working with, niche down, pick the right market, pick the people who have money and who will get the most value from your product. Do that, and yeah, I'll see you later.